All right, welcome everyone. Welcome one, welcome all. We are back. We are back from Vegas, right? And what happens in Vegas definitely stays on Twitter, or Facebook or YouTube. So I want you all to know that it definitely does stay on social media. I wish I was able to be able to better defend myself, but I was definitely. We had a great time. So we got the lovely man himself. You guys have seen a picture of this giant hunk. He is here. We've got Big Chone here. He survived. He just woke up. You there?
Hey guys, how's everybody tonight?
Oh man, he's still got his midget porn running in the background, so he's got a little delay in his audio.
Oh god,
No,
not
it's
the
not,
midget
it's
porn.
it's better. It's better now though. Not the midget porn, but the audio's better. I don't think the midget porn ever gets better. So we're
I think it's
gonna.
Discord.
Oh, you think it's
It's
Discord?
Discord.
It could be. It's fine
Yeah,
right
I
now.
see it crapping out.
Yeah, it's fine right now. So we're gonna go over some price action before we get into a recap, just because there's probably people who want to watch this and not hear us ramble on about the show and the great information we got, and we'll talk about what everybody thought about their targets. I'll try to do my best to go. Both of us will go one by one. Try to give basically the main core speakers at the show what their thoughts were on price action, where they all felt the bottom was, and if any of them thought the bottom was in. I think there was only two that I knew that were there, that were on the stage. I thought the bottom was in. The rest of everybody up there pretty much thought we were going down. And so I'm going to jump right into some PA real quick. All right. So I have been calling for this lower target area, right? For, oh God, since before we left, right? So I've definitely been calling for this lower target area. I know a lot of crypto Twitter was going up, and so now here's the thing: we hit into my target area. We came into my target area. I did open a long, right? I opened a long for a scalp here. Now, let me tell you what. I don't like this. I mean, this sure looks like this is forming out a bear flag on the smaller time frames, even on the larger time frames. This looks like a rising wedge and or bearish pennant forming out here. I don't like this. This is not looking good. Now, if I get taken out of this trade, I get taken out of this trade. I do have my stop loss at 33.55. So I'm right below the 786, right? Right below the 786. And I will continue. I think I'm going to try to continue to try to pull a long out of this, right? I think I'm going to try to pull long out of this, depending on the volume and the intensity of whatever dump we have coming. I am still sitting in my Ethereum short. I can actually show that to you guys. So I did post that up. I posted it in the group just a little while ago. I am in this long scalp at like 34.17 or 34.12. So I'm just a little bit under it right now. Not a big deal. If I get stomped out, it's a very tight stop loss on this. I'm not even worried about it. But this does not look good here at all. I am really worried about this at this very moment, because this is now looking like it is forming up a flag. It's forming up an ugly flag. And if this baby breaks, this is going to be, it looks like a symmetrical triangle kind of putting together right here. And if this baby breaks, I am a little worried about this thing right now. I think we have very limited top side. I still think if we go up, we have a wick out. We have that super heavy resistance now on top of us that took us forever to break through at 35.15. That is now going to be absolutely the bee's knees to break through right there. That is going to be ugly. All right. On the downside, now we've got the 200 MA. So we got the 200 MA on the bottom side on the weekly, and that baby is coasting right around. Let me go over here. Let me find out where that thing is at. Tell you exactly. We use this chart. Doesn't have it on there. Not that one. Let me go find it. Here we go. All right, we'll go here. All right, we'll pull this weekly up here. There it is. It is now parked at 3,300. So 3,300 is where we have the 200 MA for the weekly. All right, so I got to adjust that on my chart because I have not updated my chart. So we're at 3,300 right there for the weekly. So we hit that 3,300. That's the 200 MA, right? We hit that 200 MA. I can see still a bounce off this. Now, let me explain to you. People were asking me, why did you open a short trade there? I mean, a long trade there to hedge. It's an easy answer. I like to, and I put it in the members area. I like to put in trades on pivot points, right? I like to put in trades on pivot points. Pivot points are solid fibs, the 5.0, the 618, the 786, even the vamp fib. I like to put in trades on moving averages, especially on higher time frame ones, right? Now you do have to give yourself some room on those, right? You have to give yourself a little room on those babies. But you know, you look right here, and this chart kind of sums it up, right? There's the 786. We got the bounce off the 786. It wasn't much, right? But then you see the 618. Look at how the 618 worked as resistance here. Beautiful, right? And then you have your moving averages, and then you come on over here, and there's your 200 MA with a gorgeous bounce off the 200 MA, rejected off the 7 MA, rejected off the 7 MA again, coming back down. Looks like it's going to try to retest the 200 MA here. Right now, I'm telling you all, right? Where is it at? I did another one. Where is it at? Just did a chart. Geez, I got so many charts up everywhere. So my thing is I've got to warn everybody right now that there's two things you all need to be afraid of. And yes, the word is afraid. You need to be afraid of this cross right here. This is the 128 and the 200 cross. There it is right there. This is on the 3-day. You're on day 2. Is this day 2 shown of the 3-day? Day 2 of the 3-day? Day 2 or day 3?
The next one starts on the 31st, so we are on day 1 of the 3-day.
Day 1.
Or day 1.
Wow,
Yes, day
that
1.
is a big volume candle so far for day 1 right there. That's not pretty at all. So now, when we do have this bearish cross, last time we had this bearish cross back in El Paso, right? We're going to go back into the past right here. Here's the 3-day. There's that bearish cross on the 3-day. And look at this is seriously, like if you want a kick in the nuts by a stripper, especially not a midget one, like this cross right here was the bee's knees of the beatdown. So this is a very scary possible cross we got right here that's cooking, and it is coming in 48 hours-ish. Roughly 48 hours, 2 days, right? Yeah, like 2 days, a little under 48 hours. You're going to have this at least come together and touch, if not cross, and then 3 more days, you'll definitely have the cross right there. There is no way for this to not possibly cross bearish. And I will have to say there is a 99.999% chance that this will cross bearish on us, okay? Now, the second one you need to be watching out for is this one over here. So we're going to go over to this. This is your monthly, and there's your monthly right there. Look, the monthly, you can't see it. The blue dot is actually touching. It's right on top of the white dot right there. So this monthly 7 MA and 30 MA are going to come together, right? They're going to come together right here. And this is starting to look like a pennant. This is really starting to look like a pennant that's forming right now. This looks bearish. This does not look bullish in any way on the monthly. Let me come on over here to the monthly. And where's it at? Come to daddy. Where are you at? Okay, there it is. Jeez Lord. All right. So here's the monthly. Last time we had this monthly cross. Now this happened more in the middle of the month. So it actually, this definitely swung closed in intra-month. So the swung closed intra-month, this crossed intra-month, So here, when you had that cross, you had a very vicious retraction of price action. We're just going to summarize this as a beatdown, right? You had a clear and present beatdown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here. This is the right chart I was looking for. So the price action on this after that beatdown was a 30% price action of the bearish. So you have 30% when this puppy crossed bearish right there. So let's say we're anywhere in the vicinity here. We're going to go to 30%. Pull up, baby, at 30%. So depending on where we are at, I mean, you could look for, that's giving us, if we're right here in 3 days roughly, or a little bit lower, a little bit higher, it's going to put us down at the 1618 area, right? At 34. That's very significant. Okay, so I'm going to put this on this chart, right? This is the beat down. I think it's one. Is beat down one word? Beat down, right? No, it's not. Beat down on the monthly 730 bear cross, right? Equals 30%. Okay, there it is. Ugly. Listen, you don't have to like it. You just have to accept it, okay? It's like marriage, right? It's like marriage. Listen, was I in Vegas? Yes. Did I have a great time? Yes. Did I not want to taste from the fruit of the nectar of thine strippers? Yes. Did I? Hell no, because I like half my shit, right? So Chone will tell you I was a very well-behaved gentleman. And here we go. So this, if we got this beat down, right? Let's just call this from the 35.15 because I think that's the top of our resistance. This baby would possibly run us out to the 1.618 at 2410 equals 2410. So this would be the beatdown target on this thing closing on the monthly closing right now. This is where, now remember, this doesn't think shit doesn't go in a straight line. So don't get all excited. It's not like it's just gonna, well, like it actually, I lied. It can just fall straight out. It could totally just fall straight out. And let me drop this in here. Okay, and then let me get back up to the Chonster. All right. So this is my thought that the clock is ticking. I was hoping for a last push back up here to get right back up into here. I was really looking for it, but I feel the time is ticking right now and it's not looking good. I figure we have no more than 6 days left of possible upside. No, less, 5 days. We got 5 days of possible upside left, and you can see that historically with that 3-day chart. So with that 3-day chart, you go back to the 3-day, right? And let's see, where are you at? Damn it. There we go. All right. Give it to me. Where are you at? All right, there it is. Okay. And there we go. So based on the previous 3-day chart, though, we were running up and not running down last time. So no idea what's going to happen this time. All right. And you've got, you know, by the time that crosses, it actually held for 3, 6, and then it fell out on the third candle over. So you've got a little bit of time. We've got a little bit of time here to stay at least sideways. All right, you ready over there, buddy?
Let's do it.
I'm going to shift the chart over to the Chone. All right, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to what you're saying,
Chris.
and
Chris is hilarious.
I think, yikes. I think I think what you're talking about putting in a scalp position where we expected it to touch that 786, one more time, and then seeing just the lackluster volume, the lackluster buyers that kind of stepped in at that moment there, which pretty much what I was watching for, is to see if we could find any kind of we found a little lower low, but we're going to bounce one more time, because over the past couple weeks we were basically finding lower lows and having bounces off of that. So I'll start here with my Bollinger Bands on the daily, and so I note a couple of things here. I put a tweet out earlier in the week about how we, when we were able to find and touch to the point there, our lower Bollinger back on December 8th, which ironically marked almost a year to the day from the bottom, or sorry, the top of Bitcoin. We had touched the lower Bollinger. We had put in a lower low on our price action, but we actually held above the lower Bollinger on that second attempt. Broke through the middle BB after finding initial resistance on our first attempt. We came back. Remember, the intraday, this candle here on the 18th was quite a pullback. But was able to bust through, close above the middle Bollinger, and then we were able to tackle that upper BB once again. Now, these attempts, we were able to get through it intraday, especially on our third attempt here, with a nice, pop through it. And then 42.30, that is a very important number to think about, because that was really our nut top so far, but our nut top from our bounce, our so far dead cat bounce, from our tremendous pullback from the 6K region. So, okay, we break through our BB, we get our basically our hand slap, fine. Bitcoin gets its hand slap, but they're able to ride the middle Bollinger for the opening of the year. We turned the new corner. We started 2018. And the January 1st of 2018, again, intraday candle broke below the middle BB. Buyers stepped in, and we were able to hold that. And we held it all the way until we actually fell through here on January 10th with another attempt of our upper Bollinger. Only this time we couldn't even break through it. We just hit it against just to the penny, and then to the penny again. We couldn't break above. So it showed the next attempt. This is the failed impulse wave. Actually, I mean, if you want to think about it that way, the first attempt we were able to get through, and mind you, our Bollingers were much wider then. So that even shows how strong these pushes were. So now we have a tighter Bollinger Spectrum, and even with that, the bulls are not able to push through, with a firm rejection on both attempts, especially on this really nasty candle here. We break down, fine. We now find our support area once again on our lower BB, break through it, just by a hair intraday, break through it again intraday. And because of that second attempt there, that second area where we were able to hold, we were able to begin to range, and basically I wanted to target our middle Bollinger. And sure enough, that's where we hit, and that's where we were firmly rejected by the price action there. So now we fast forward again after all this ranging, and we put in a lower low, but we did not hit that lower Bollinger touch. I knew we were putting in a very similar situation with a lower low, but we're not touching our lower Bollinger. Lower low, but no lower Bollinger touch. So once again, the middle Bollinger was our target. And there it was, to the penny, was able to touch and get rejected once again. And now it's like, okay, last time we were able to get above it a little bit, and this time, like, by a dollar maybe. But seriously, so the bullish attempts, the volume profile, the consistency of that was so apparent through the past 2 weeks. Where's the volume? The question mark. Where's the volume? Where's the volume? Where's the volume? Where's that next catalyst that's going to bring the price action higher? No, um, reactions happen with the reaction of the oversoldness of this area, produced this bounce here that proved not to be the bottom. This next area did prove to be this temporary bottom. But just as our Bollingers are showing us now, we're tightening, and for the first time, we've actually opened our first daily candle below the lower BB. And heck, this has not
So
happened in
historically,
quite some
what
time.
does that mean?
Bollingers are tighter than they've been.
Yeah, yeah, but
But
opening up outside of that, where's that happened before is what I'm looking for.
well, let's keep in
All right,
perspective
there it is. There it
the
is right
spectrum
there.
there. So something about this close here, this yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like here, about basically halfway through. But we're much wider here. You know, we're much
Yeah,
wider.
yeah.
This gives us running room, bearish running room, to begin to spread these out because now our dailies are getting really tight here. And we have not been, what are we, it's 37, 34, so about $250 and 44. We're almost, we're about $50 less than the actual dollar amount of our spread back here. It's a different ratio because of the percentage, because we're half the price. But we're getting to that area where our Bollingers and our daily especially tighten, and it shows that a more volatile move is imminent. Our 12-hour, similarly, we're outside of it with a very tight Bollinger Spectrum. 6-hour, very tight, but widening because of that move. And so we're basically poised to make that bigger move. And beginning now, because our daily's tightening, we go to our 3-day, and look how dead stick our lower Bollinger is on our 3-day candle. We're right at that 31.95 area. Now, I want to introduce the 200, which you were talking about as well, because sure, I expect to hit it once again. We hit it last time, we broke through it, and it produced that nice bounce. And fast forward almost a month, and we're a couple $100 higher. 33.07. Now, remember, this varies from exchange to exchange. It varies if you're looking at the Bitfinex. It varies if you're looking at Bitstamp. I mean, it's close, but this dollar amount varies. So the price action retesting the MA200 on the highest time frames, the weekly, is notable. And were you telling me about the 50 on the monthly? Was that what it was?
Yeah, the 50 on the monthly is on the bottom side right there.
There it is. Look at that.
There it is.
Right
We're
there.
30. Yep.
3,036. So, I mean, but what are we really saying here? What we're basically saying, and this is kind of what I've been watching for, is let me hide this for just 1 second here. We're putting in another descending triangle. Basically, we're putting in a chance where we kind of hit the 3K area once again, hopefully find some support, and then put in a lower high on the bounce of that area, and basically continue this pattern until 3K, which is currently support, begins to fail. Now, couple $100 here, couple $100 there is irrelevant. The last move was able to give Bitcoin, a bounce of about 35%, and we know how many alts were able to basically run off that and have tremendous gains across the board there. Um, but that momentum, that built up potential kinetic energy, that's because of the bearish move of Bitcoin, that's gone now. So like, what's the next catalyst that's going to bring us that higher? What's the next thing that's going to say buyers are feeling okay? The sellers have capitulated. It's time for a nice little bounce here, and I just can't see how, as we're flirting once again with breaking $3,400, that anything until we get to that lower 3Ks or potentially break it is going to induce some sort of a nice, volume of buyers that are prepared to hold longer than just a scalp. We can look at all of our, MAs, EMAs, where they are. We've been ranging for 2 weeks. So it's kind of not relevant, but it's kind of mundane to kind of look at. I'm sure everything looks pretty much sideways. We have a kind of an interesting parallel here, channel, over the past couple weeks here, where we have a double tap here on the upward diagonal, and the middle channel support here, and then kind of the full come around back to it here is pretty clean. So this retest of a lower channel support here, if this is one, again puts us right into that lower 3K area. So everything is continuing to point to, we're gonna test our December 2018 lows, of the lower 3K area to see how strong it is. happens to coincide with our MA200 on the weekly, the 50 on the monthly.
And the
Um,
gap
and the gap in the futures at
at
30 at
3150.
3150. So all these things are saying, okay, that's the case. The question is, let's just play this out. Okay, so we get down there, we hit it, and then we basically have to keep in mind all of our diagonal resistances, our upper resistances, not just our EMAs and MAs, but just the fact that lower highs are still consistently the name of the game. If we were ranging at 3,550, I mean, how long were we pegged at 3,550 all this week? Every time I checked the price action in Vegas, it was 3,550 plus or minus like $20. We failed to hold it. So how strong of a resistance area has that now become?
With the new lower low.
With a new lower low, exactly. So any bouncing, any short term bouncing from any kind of near term oversold conditions have to find enough of a momentum to break the trend. I can show you a variety of resistances that are now apparent just because of being able to range in an area for a while and then fail to hold that range. We basically just set this whole new realm. So what I'm watching for, and this is kind of where it's key, is what am I watching for? Well, I'm watching for, just as we've seen the last time, what were the things that induced the bounce in the last time? 9 counts, extreme oversold conditions, especially on RSI higher time frames, the expanse of our indicators. We see how wide, the ones I use, EMA 12 and 26, we see how wide they were able to get here. We're just beginning that spread. Same with the Bollingers as well. We're getting tighter in our daily, not wider yet. So we're building a time frame that can spread this quite long for a certain amount of time. And lastly, here it's always been our volume. There's no retail in this market right here. There's nothing like what it was back in the day, and all these moves are the exchanges trying to. It just feels like it's all kind of trying to keep itself afloat. And once one boat falls, one domino falls, the cascade of FUD could be something that we don't know. This could form a much broadening, larger wedge falling formation than we're basically able to visualize right now. We're hoping for some sort of a support down in the 3K range here, but the cascade is waterfall, and we've seen it time and time again where you think it's going to find these supports and it just keeps going and keeps going. And I think what we've seen before as well, and with sideways price action, we get those quicker volatile moves. Our 6K move, how long were we sideways in the 6K area? And now, once again, we've been we've been sideways basically for over a month. We've been in mid 3600s
With failing
since
volume.
with failing volume since December 20th. So it's not just the price action; it's just the time. For a month, we've been plus or minus a couple $100 in Bitcoin, with no buyers coming back into the market right now. No one feeling that this is a value area yet for a longer term scalp versus or trade versus a shorter term scalp in this area here. And listen, a lot of the money has been flowing into alts that they have better stories to kind of piggyback on, while Bitcoin has been ranging. Your Trons, your BNBs, it's been able to allow that flow to come in, and now they're hitting, after very nice runs. That last little FOMO push is beginning to kind of tire out, especially with what we're seeing here in Bitcoin. And we know what happens when Bitcoin loses value. I don't care how bullishly your alt is compared to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin loses, a percentage X, your altcoin valuation is cut that much pretty much as well across the board. So, with this happening, with Bitcoin beginning to lose value again, people are going to take money off the table. They're going to put it in more stable means, stable coins, fiat, And if we're starting to see another 3,300s Bitcoin in the next 24 hours, it's hard to feel that a lot of people that are currently holding altcoins that have had a nice move over the past several days are going to want to keep that going. And that can create a kind of a cascading effect across the entire market. Volume is low, market caps are falling, Bitcoin dominance is still kind of weak. There's a lot of money still in alts. And what I'm wanting to see is Bitcoin dominance rise. Bitcoin dominance increasing, which basically means that the alts are beginning to capitulate in the way that can signal that kind of bottoming of area of Bitcoin that we're watching for. And we still don't know how this is going to happen yet. If we're still factoring in the 2014, 2015 fractal, within a week's time, there's that long wick bottom comes back up, and then there's like a 10-month range. If we're going to see something like that again, it just feels like we're getting closer to that. If they're going to see that wick area, we're getting closer into that area time frame in the next 2 to potentially 6 weeks. I think in February, I remember February 6th, 1 year ago, that was that insane V bottom we had in the price action of Bitcoin. So, these are cyclical. These are
Cyclical.
cyclical. Thanks.
Cyclical.
I can still sleep. Cyclical markets. And once again, remember what happened here, where we had something of just this immense capitulation with immense volume that created a catalyst, created that springboard catalyst that gave us was a 100% move. So for that to induce itself, we need to fall more. And I think, unfortunately, our near-term price areas where we wanted to see the bulls make that last defense from our most recent swing low to our most recent swing high, that 786. Where listen, we had found support to 618, and for a while, and there was a little bouncy bounce there, right around here. We got as high as above the 50. We were trying to get to the 38, and we couldn't do it. We ranged for a while, and now our 786 was touched pretty much on yesterday's candle wick, and we're just trying to see if we can hold it. 3360s is it. Other than that, it's just a fall through
Not looking good
to
right now.
those higher time frame, the MA200, or let's just face it, we're going back to 3130, which was our December low there. We found support there. Our volume did not show up though until after that. So there's buyers, or at least there were buyers really flowing in from 3150 to about 3250. So there's just that whole area as a whole, but it's going to be tested because the market needs to see if those buyers here, right here, if they're for real, if they're going to step back in, if we get down there. And down there is $250. It's about another 8 to 10% move down in the price action of Bitcoin, and that can totally happen. And the volume, I mean, I'm on the daily, but the volume is just like where to go. It's all the bigger bars are the bear volume bars ever since our nice pop here. And I'll just finish up here real quick. Just lastly, it's the monthly, and it's our TD here, and we're clearly kind of close out on a 6, and we close out our month in 2 days. Okay, 2 days. There's nothing about this candle, nothing at all, that gives us anything except maybe there's a little less selling volume this month. Okay, maybe from a wick standpoint, we're putting in a higher low from the low of last month, barely, but we had all month to at least make a go of last month's close or high or open, and we failed to achieve all three. So we're kind of put in a red 6, and then 7, 1, 2, 3. We have a clear path to a 9. February, March, April. But April will be the month where we could at least have a chance to do some sort of a price slip. because we won't have to be closing below 6K anymore. We'll be down into close below the 37s or 34s or so. So we're definitely getting closer to an area where we could find some sort of that bottoming, and then all that really just is based on the price action from 2017, the very limited time we were there, but it's all the data we have. Okay, this is the monthly, and July of 2017. Okay, we were at the high of the month was $2,900, and the low of the month was $1,700. And that's a candle that we have to realize can play out in this price action here. I think breaking 3K and not finding the bounce that the bulls want can bring all that lower 3K price action into play. And I think all those areas are in play, just based on the volume, the lack thereof, all of our bear crosses that are going to be playing out over the next few weeks and months if the price action remains consistent. And then on higher time frames, like the monthly, the RSI in the monthly is at 43. That's kind of high still for. I mean, that has running room to fall there. The one thing that is interesting though is that the stochastic here, um, we're talking about this I think the last time, is that we're 0 0. Look up here. We're just 0 0. We're complete flat pancake now on both of our indicators here, and this will be something I'll be watching over the next few months, weeks, to see if there's there's kind of that sense of that corner turning, but MACD monthly, running room, everything is running room in the higher time frames because the near term or the lower time frames show a very similar story. Our weekly RSI was able to close below 30 and bounce off of it, but now we're at a week 33. I mean, there's nothing about this RSI other than lower highs, and potentially a lower low setup. But we also know that with RSI, it's the second attempt that can basically symbolize, getting closer to bottom. Talking money flow, there's nothing that says this isn't going lower. Let me get
Money
a
evaporating out of the market.
stamp here. Yeah, we see on Bitstamp here how low it got at the bottom, and we see where we are here. Everything keeps suggesting running room on the higher time frames. Lower time frames, we know where our targets are. We know what's important. We want to find a bounce around the 3K area. Breaking that puts our MA200 in the higher time frame as resistance, and everything else becomes. And this is what happened last thing. Like, we've been below the MA200 before. So this can set, and the fact that we're hitting it now, like the last time we hit it in 14, it would that was the week, right? That was the week that we actually, oh, it's BLX. That was the week that we actually found that lower bottom support, and then we ranged forever until we actually were able to break out. This time, because it feels like we have more running room to break through it and be below it, to almost symbolize much of a larger corrective pattern here. We broke through it intra-week. We broke through it, and we closed below it almost. Yeah, but below it for just intra-week there,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks above, below, and then there was our breakout. I just feel that this time, I mean, it could be the same. It could be the same, but I feel we could be under it for a while. We could be under it for a while, and just because of how much more parabolic the move to 20K was than the last move was. Um, so
Okay.
there's
Let me
that's what I
show,
got.
let me show you guys a couple things here real quick. All right. So number one, yeah, what I've done is I've formed out this little pennant right here. So I played out a little pennant, um, and you guys can see the little pennant I played out right here on the 30-minute chart. So you've got this. This is actually bearish. This is a bearish pennant. You see the volume dropping. This is not good. You're looking at 39, 33.90 right here. So 33.90 is ugly, but I'm going to show you a couple other things that are really not healthy. Okay, so I want to go over to this chart. Oops, and this one right here. So this is my bubble chart. This is my RSI bubble chart. This thing has been on fire for me and made me a lot of money for a long time. So you see the blue box, this is a rejection area up above. This is the support boxes, right? These are the two support levels right here. You can see as you go back historically, all the support that's happened in this area, right? Now, when you do break these boxes right here, right? When you do break this bubble, right? Shit can get real ugly real quick, okay? So I want you to know you are on a very critical, we are on a very critical support right here. If this breaks, okay, if this does not act as support for us right now, and it is getting very close, this is actually a short trade signal right here. Okay, this is a breaking this line, being on this line right here is a short trade signal for me. Okay, this is not healthy at all, right? This is not good. Now, opening and closing below this, you've still got 7 hours to open and close below this line. But historically, if you look and you go up, you bring your fractal, you bring all your price action down here. Let me get this all cleaned up a little bit. Right? If you bring your price action down, and you go and you look at every time you broke this 30 line right here, right? This line right here, every time you break this line, you get a pretty tragic dump, right? You broke it here, you broke it there, you broke it here. So this is, you get a pretty ugly, tragic dump out of this, right? You got to test into the support area. You bounced out of it, and then you just bounced right back down into it. Now you're kissing it again. So you're at a lower level. There's a lot of support down here now, right below us. So this was one of the reasons this is a good reason for me why I open a long, because there's support. You know, there is support, historical support in here. If this does let go, this will be a shit show. We are on a cliff for I would say a 100 to 300 point drop, right? So we're on a cliff for a 100 to 300 point drop, right? And if this does snap, if this baby does snap, you will see that, you know, you're going to see that 3150 tested, right? So this is, let's get over here, right? Right? We are on a cliff, right? Fall off, and 100 to 300 point drop. Okay, and that's that. There's just nothing else. It's historically, that's what happens right here. Right? And I can go through and I can point out all the areas the last time this thing has previously taken a frickin' turd on us. Right? Where is it at? Okay, right there. Oh, come on, get off there. There's my horizontal or vertical. And right there. Right there. Right there. We don't want to talk about this one. That was super ugly. The other ones are right there. All right, but I want to go all the way back. I do want to see what happened when we broke here. Yeah, we're not this low when we totally took our dive out. So there is one right there. Another one. And so you get the idea, okay? You get the idea right here that you break this and you can get a pretty traumatic dump off of just breaking this price action right here, right? Right, there they are. You can see all these breaks. Dump, 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 dump. So we are on this cliff right here, right? We're breaking the cliff. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. Right? We're on a cliff, and there probably is gonna go my frickin' yeah, not looking good at all right there, people. So you roll off this thing. It's gotta bounce back. Now remember, there's no shadow on this, so this has got to hold right here, or we're gonna take a hardcore dump. If this line does not hold, we have support. Listen, we have support with this Bollinger Band. We have support with this. We're right below both of these Bollinger Bands now. So both our 12-hour and our day. Oh wait, this needs to go in 12-hour. 12 hours below. Dailies below. Not looking good here. This is not looking pretty. And yeah, I'm not liking where we're at. So we're so close right here to just.
We're in the candle of December 17th that started at 31.96 and went as high as $3,500.
Yep.
So it just as fast as, and everything behind that was just wicks. So you're right. The next support is
Yep.
like 32-ish until
It's
we get to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So take a look here, people. Look at that. So that this 33.90 held for just a few seconds. There's the wedge right there. Right there's that wedge. Right, not looking good in my short trade. Not looking good in my long. So I pulled that long. I'm gonna have to go hunt that baby down. So not looking good on that. Let's go find my long. But I'll tell you what, I'm about to get short snapped out of this bitch. Yep. Not looking good here. So we're on the support of the trend line right here. Let's see if the trend line, so you got your trend line working as support right now. You've also got you've got your trend line working as support. You've got your RSI line working as support. You've got your Bollinger Bands trying to work as support. So you've got a lot of different indicators trying to work as support right now. Let's see if they can hold this line right here. Like, this is not good, right? If they lose this line, this is going to be pretty freaking frugly, and we're going to be looking for those lower targets over here, right? We're going to be looking for all of these targets all the way down, just like Chon said. Now, I have to tell you, let's go to a very important point. Okay, I want to go to a very important point, and that point is the weekly. Okay, I'm going to pull the weekly up over here. All right, let's make sure we have our moving averages up. Where is my 200 MA? Why is my 200 MA not up? Because BitMEX sucks freaking nuts. That's why
It's not wide enough or old
yeah,
enough.
it's not unbelievable. All right, we'll go over here. There's our weekly. All right, so here's our weekly on MEX, okay? So I'm going to make 1 point here, okay? So in 2014, we only hit the 200 MA twice, right? Right, so we only hit the 200 MA. We never opened below the 200 MA, okay? If we open below the 200 MA, we are fucked, okay? So there it is. So there, this is where we're at right now, right? So we're actually in a really shitty, precarious position, because last time this happened, unbelievable. Come on, back up. All right, last time this happened, copy. Okay, let's go back in time. All right, so we'll go over here. So last time we hit this, we had the 200. Chone just showed it on his chart very well. Okay, we're going to pull this out to the weekly. There's all my ugliness. Okay, so there's this 200 that comes down here. So we tapped it once. We actually didn't touch it again till back over here. And this was a considerable amount of time later. Let's go over here and look at this. So we didn't touch it again for 31 days, 217 days, sorry, 217 days. We didn't touch the 200 MA again. So we touched it the first time here, then we touched it the second time here. Right now, where we're at, (2014), we only weekly twice. 200 and what did I just say? 214 days later, 217 days later. Was it 217 days? Damn. Okay, so this for us, closing in, just coming all the way down here and doing this a second time, right? If we touch this 200 MA and open up below this 200 MA, it's just, this is, you're creating a new historical precedent here, right? A new historical precedent is what's going to happen, and it's going to be freaking ugly. That's Chone, you got anything to add about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I totally agree that the historical role of this price action and the fact that we're hitting areas where if you were a stock trader and you were looking at a stock hitting the 200 on these higher time frames, you want to find the market, find that area of support and use that to grow on. Breaking below it basically signalizes the bear market continuation. And because every bear market since the dawn of Bitcoin seems to be longer than the one that preceded it, I don't see that trend ending. And then you throw on top of that a much more a substantial parabolic move this time around. I just feel that it's not necessarily just the bottoming moment, because there'll be a moment, where Bitcoin bottoms in a time frame. But what happens after that? It's not next stop moon. It's next stop a ranging period of retesting areas that had acted as support and are now resistance, seeing how if we can get buyers in the market, failed rallies upon failed rallies until some sort of a breakthrough. We can look at this area back in 2017 of where Bitcoin from $1,700 to $6,000 was over the course of summer vacation to Thanksgiving. I mean, it was a tremendous, move in price action in a relatively short amount of time. We were able to blast through there so fast. We're seeing the inverse, and we can't be surprised by this. I think people kind of took this off guard about how quickly these moves have been able to run, and it's always seemingly when the smart money is in and out, and the greater populace goes into something, they're probably getting into it towards the end of an event. That last little blow off top is where that last money comes in, and that normally symbolizes the pinnacle of that move. Coming down in this market here, and over the past almost 2 months, starting in November when we broke through 6K with such ease and conviction. We throw through 5K, and we basically fell back to 3K with a bounce back to lower 4200s. And now once again, we're testing our 3K range, and we basically see from 3K to about $1,700, $1,800 is that next data sample of price action that we have in this area. Nothing has happened before it. And so far, nothing has happened since. But because we have a sense of what happened in this area and this area, if we're failure to hold 3K and using it as support, and for now, very strong support. That was a very nice bounce we had off of it. So I don't expect it to fail, on the first attempt. I expect the Bulls to put some fight into it. But as we see consistently in this bear market, what initially acts as interesting support areas have inevitably become resistance areas, and that trend continues. The break of 3K brings in all these areas that the price action can tackle. There's a case to be made for support in the $2,600 to $2,400 range, and then basically that can take the price action all the way down to the 2K range once again. So as 3K is defended strong, 2K may be defended strong just because of the limited time from May to July. The price action was, I guess, May to August, I should say. Price action was between 17 and 3K before it went higher. So the back test after 3K was broken, and then this insane, very vicious pullback from 5K to 3K here in September of 17. Maybe that was a China FUD thing or something. It was a 40% pullback in Bitcoin before it took another month later to break through that into all-time highs. So this 40% pullback found support right at 3K. Support, support, support. We fast forward to a month ago, we found support there once again. And the failure to hold that, the failure to hold it as here, resistance, resistance, support, the failure to hold 3K is really a very nightmarish scenario almost for Bitcoin, because then any bounce above or trying to get above it again, or any kind of supports found in the sub 3K area will face very steep resistance. I mean, it could break down and break through it again, sure, but then the retest, and then the failure again, just as the ball bounces and loses momentum along the way. So I think the price action and the market needs to get used to what happens in this area here, because until we see this volume profile change, I mean, it's just clear as day. It's just nothing's coming in. And what induced this bull bounce the last time was a tremendous bear sell-off. Maybe we need something like that again to give us that next bounce in Bitcoin that can allow the alts to stabilize and find some nice moves. If Bitcoin does have this bearish move, alts are going to get slaughtered. They're just going to get slaughtered. Even if you like the chart, even if you like the project, even if you think it's still in an uptrend, the valuations are going to fall because they're all based on the valuation of Bitcoin. And then the cycle will need to reset itself. So, we've said this along the way. These are times here where you watch, see where's the money flowing. Is it flowing into more riskier alts? Is it trying to catch the next 20-30% runner in alts? With Bitcoin falling here, people are trying to find catch this knife, but ETH is flirting with losing 100 again. And just as Litecoin held 100 for a couple bounces and then fell below it, hit 50 and fell below it, ETH is now retesting the century mark once again. And so all these coins, where we're so used to having a sense of their price being in a certain area, you mentioned SV earlier. Like, what's the point of this thing? Like, where's it going? Bitcoin ABC, if you add the both of them up, they're at $168. The pre-fork they were almost $350, $400. I mean, the valuations across the board. So we had a nice little alt season. We really did. Ever since this bounce, we had a nice little alt season on select key alts that had a good story and a good chart. And the lack of fall through and some of the bigger names we were watching, the Lumens, ADA had a move and then through on it. It was just a couple select alts that kept the market kind of frothy. about that sense that maybe money's going to start flowing back in. But again, Bitcoin runs the show. Somebody asked earlier in the chat about, well, Litecoin, showing the path on the upside and on the downside. Um, you know, it's struggling to hold 30. It's struggling to hold 30. We have this inverse Head and Shoulders, and now we're putting in some sort of a. I mean, it almost looks like a new Head and Shoulders, the right way.
Oh man,
Uh,
yeah, I called the Head and Shoulders a while ago.
yeah, I
I
mean,
was doing it on the
it's
indicators for sure.
yeah, and it's just like, again, ETH at 100, Litecoin at 30. What becomes support becomes resistance. Creates a whole narrative um, where it can go lower. Now Litecoin is bullishly holding a divergence to Bitcoin. You can see it in just how Bitcoin is. Like, totally
Litecoin
see it.
hasn't made a new low.
BTC USD. So there's. Oh, hold on. Right. At the volume. This is since December. So, oops. Yeah, so here's Bitcoin -8, and here's Litecoin -5. So the bullish divergence has been holding, and that's why we see the spread where Litecoin got up 40% at this moment here, while Bitcoin was only up 9% from December 5th. Whatever, I can go back a little more here, but yeah, so you see how much stronger. Litecoin was to Bitcoin. So could the like, what are we watching for here? Are we watching for these to line up again and then to break and to inverse? Because all Litecoin is an
Yeah,
alt,
that looks just
is
like a Head and
Litecoin.
Shoulders.
Oh yeah. Is Litecoin going to need to go inversely bearish to Bitcoin to show us more of a closing in the bottoming area? Um, ETH at 100 might not hold, Litecoin at 30 might not hold, and that becomes the new resistance area. And just with Bitcoin, Litecoin had a very short lifespan. I mean, look how nuts this went. Litecoin from March 17 was at $4. By May 17, it was at almost 40. So almost 10 bagged. Almost. Whoa, sorry. It almost 10x'd in like 2 months, and never corrected from that move yet. So we see similarly here the bounce, this pullback brought the price down to about $20, um, and then
Man, that
under
looks like it's
that,
going right back down to $24.
yeah, and then under that, like, there's just no time here. Litecoin was at $4 for most of its life, or less even. I shouldn't say most of its life. It was at much less. I know back here it was at pennies, and then cents, and then a couple bucks, and then it was Hamilton's, and then it was Benjamin's, and now we're back to Hamilton's again. So there's nothing in these altcoins, especially the ones that have had the bigger moves, the Litecoins, the Ethereums over time, the Moneros, all the big caps, the EOSs, that went parabolic and just rocket ship took off. EOS rocket ship. It was 50 cents, and then a month later it was $4. The historic support for EOS is sub $1. And it could fall another 50% or more because of that situation. All these charts look very similar, just slightly different to Bitcoin. The bounce, the lower high, the lower volume profile across the board, and now Bitcoin is, I feel, once again, reasserting itself in that situation, and we're going to see, where this takes us. I think we start. This is Monday, right? So because we're going bearish on a Monday, you kind of figure that maybe we'll be able to put the lower wick into the price action earlier in the week, and then try and build on some sort of a bullish momentum throughout the week. So because we're starting so bearish early in the week, maybe we're looking for something in the next couple days to show us that bottoming, and then try and close the week out with a little bit of a lower wick at some case.
Yeah, I'm just posting in the members area. I'm not liking this at all. I'm not
No.
liking this at all. Yeah, since we're gonna do some alts here, let me bring up some alts over here. So let me pop this out here. Oh Lord! All right, let's take a look at SV first. So I want to go over and look at my SV chart. So listen, I had my SV arrow. It's been pointing right to here. There was my SV arrow. And let's look at this. I'm going to bring over my, here's my members area. Let's go down, look at SV. There we go, BCH. So I still, you guys know, I've been tracking this, right? I've had this target, my target, and I will show you guys, has always been to get down to that $50 area, right? So this was our support area. We came down. We have now hit my first target, okay? So we've come down and hit my first target. I was actually targeting, so look, you nailed the bottom of this this channel perfectly. So the bottom of this channel has just been nailed absolutely perfectly. We have not hit the 786 though. So we've not hit the 786 at 59 bucks. My long-term prediction has always been if SV can't break 123, it's going to go to 50 first, right? We never did break and close over 123 as per my prediction, right? And once it hits 50, I do believe it will hit 38. And there's 38 down there. I do believe it'll come back down here and touch all the way back down to the bottom. You can see the bearish volume is actually increased, but the overall volume is capitulating to the downside. So not looking good. Now, I would like to see a bounce in here. I really would like to see some kind of a bounce. I really would like to see. We've hit my lower target. We've done a great fallout. Now, I would like to see Craig Wright and Calvin step in, dump a bunch of Bitcoin to try to save SV. And yes, just like Craig Wright said in his little tweet that he just put up, right? And we're going to bring that over. Let me grab that tweet. Great job by finding that tweet. Let's go over here. All right, let's find Craig Wright. Okay. Let's bring up his tweet. Or was that? There it is. Okay. So, with this statement right here, right, I gotta say, no wonder why Bitcoin is dumping, because he will not let it dump. These guys are not going to let SV die, right? They're not going to. He owns more Bitcoin than everyone, right? Right? And this is very important, because what they're going to do is they're going to save. They're going to try to save their coin, right? So here is a great reason why BTC will keep dumping, because these guys will dump it to save SV, right? They don't want SV to capitulate to the bottom. Right? They do not want SV to capitulate all the way down to the bottom there, right? So Craig and Calvin, these guys will dump as much BTC as they need in order to keep SV, and they'll just buy SV. They'll just keep buying SV up because that's just what they got to do. Now, at what point will these guys take such a loss on SV that they'll just have to walk away from it? And my guess would be at this 49 level. My guess would be at 49 would be the threshold of pain for these guys. right? And where they'll have to really consider, I think 49 is Craig's pain threshold, right? I think this is his pain threshold right here. I think breaking 49, they'll just let it free float and they'll let the market take its course right here, right? But if this doesn't, right? But I still see there's no reason. I still would like to see a bounce and then a retest like this. There's no reason. Down, up, down again for that capitulation and to put me into my target zone, right? Right? I would like to see a bounce here, though. Would like to see a little bounce, but I'll tell you what, this is not looking good, right? We haven't hit the 786 yet, but I would like to see a bounce off the 786. And I just got to tell you guys, so I just put up a post that I'm going to liquidate half of my long scalp, right? So half my long scalp is going out the door here in just 1 second. I'm really close at 41. I'm sorry, at 33.70, I'm going to get stomped out. Oh, yeah, there it goes right there. So we've lost our, that's not good. We've lost the wedge right there. So the wedge is gone. Right there goes the wedge. Now you got to recreate a new wedge, which is not healthy. It's not a healthy thing to do. You don't want to be doing this because this just says you're going lower right here because you kind of lost this. You lost that right there. So scalp, half my scalp is gone.
We're $80 away from the MA 200 on the weekly now.
Yeah. All right. So 50% of my long will be gone at 3370. Right? So I will attempt to open another long, getting down just a little bit lower, right? And this is just ugly. Yeah, this is not looking good right here. Yeah. Yeah. There it goes. All right. So, all right, let's take a look at a couple of the other alts as BTC continues to die here. Die along with my long scalp. All right, along with my long scalp. Raven coin, actually in the support area, such as holding the bottom of the triangle. Tron, just look at this. Look at how well it is held all the way. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at how well Tron has held this trend line here. Bang, 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 all the way up. Just continues to hold it. Wow, Tron. TRX still holding the trend line.
It's on a
Waiting
9 this
for
week,
it
too.
to break. A green 9?
It's on a green 9 on Binance
Yeah.
on the weekly.
SV, there's our SV chart. There's our Ethereum chart. This Ethereum chart playing out very well. I've been calling this a head and shoulders for quite a while. You know, there is 81 is the low here. I mean, you do have a shot to get to 81, and I would have to say this would technically be your very bottom of your head and shoulders would be 81, but I would be looking, and I'm looking for this. This has not hit the 786 again, right? I would look for this to possibly hit the 786 and throw in a bounce here. It has not gone down here and hit the 786. If it doesn't, then we are just going to continue to get wrecked out. And I'm still looking this to come all the way back down here, right? But I would like to see a bounce here soon. I would say that this would correspond, right? I say this would correspond the 7. This might correspond with the BTC W200 MA. All right, what do you think? You think that'd be kind of close? All right, there's ETH.
I think if we lose 100 again, it's one of those things that who's going to buy ETH over 100 again if we lose
Yeah,
it for a second time?
yeah. Okay, so looking at Link, I called a beautiful bottom range. We hit the 382 right there. We bounced up. Now the wick that we're throwing in right here on Link is ugly as F, right? So you're looking, its Link is not looking good. Link bounce was perfect, but this candle looks ugly, right? So the bounce on Link was beautiful. It was gorgeous, but that is just a really ugly. XRP is just a whole bucket of ugly. Listen, we came down, a double bottom here. Very interesting, right? Very interesting. This could be creating a double bottom. We're going to have to keep an eye on this, right? Double bottom. Maybe, right? That would be very interesting if we double bottom right here. So we're going to have to get rid of that. That's gone. All right, that just got blown out. Oh, let's try that one more time. There we go. I lied. We'll put that right there. But that sure looks like it's trying to attempt a double bottom right there. That would be very interesting. And look, we'd be hitting our 30 right here. That would also act as support. Look at Ripple. Beautiful bottom with a retraction, and it still hasn't flipped this to a green 1. You got an imperfected 9, has not flipped it to a green 1 yet. But I have to say Ripple is still not pretty, right? I don't see any. Do you see any saving grace for Ripple right now? No, it doesn't look good. And Litecoin, still same thing. Looks like a head and shoulders. RSI is still very high. There's a lot of room for this to go down. This does look like a head and shoulders. This does not look good on Litecoin. I have to say Litecoin's done. Now we're getting a lot of long calls on these on the 12-hour scalpers, but nothing that's actually looking any good here. Broken, broken, broken. Chone, remember we talked about this just the other day? The 2-day bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And there it
Don't
is.
see it a lot. Yeah.
2 days bleeding right there. So our 2-day is bleeding. You got a bleeding 9. This happened historically back in the past. We did end the bear market on a 2-day 9, on a perfected 2-day 9. All right, another reason why I was hoping that we would get a bounce here, because we usually get we did historically get a bleeding 9, and after we got the bleeding 9, we did get some kind of a bounce. All right, at 2-day bleeding red 9, and then what else we got here? This just looks like shit. Still bearish. Everything's bearish. Come on, man. Just not getting any love here. All right, you got anything to add, buddy?
I mean, I guess just keep perspective here. there's no reason to think that we're in a situation where any kind of a long, an extended long, a sense that Bitcoin with a sideways ranging profile can get back over 4K with just uptrend momentum without having some sort of a nasty fall is becoming more and more, less likely. I feel that we need to see some sort of a breakdown um, for any kind of a stimulus to bring us back higher and to put in a higher high in the interim we did here. Otherwise, it's just the same pattern of a bouncing ball that found a nice spot to bounce off of, and it's just going to roll back over. And I almost feel the second rollover. I mean, obviously the fall from 6K was vicious, especially this was like 2 weeks here, or it wasn't 2 weeks, like a 1 week where we fell very quickly. It's not. I don't think we'll fall as fast, but I think we can fall as easily. And by easily, I mean not finding any significant buying pressure in this area. And unlike the last time where we fell through here, I think if we fall through into the next area, I don't see how a lot of the projects, because that's just going to kill so many altcoins that are already on the cliff as it is. Like if Bitcoin fall, I mean, 10% fall from now is about 30,000, is right at around 3K. I guess almost like a 12% fall is right around 3K. Um, Taking that much more valuation off a lot of altcoins, putting pressure on the exchanges to just flush them out, dump them. Um, this next round of that, I think, is going to be a lot more vicious, um, because Bitcoin had all this time while in this 3K range to show that the market felt this was the area to really show it. And the only bullish argument is just, okay, maybe we're just doing we're still in a wave two of a much larger cycle here that's going to bust us through. And yeah, until we put in a lower low, sure, that can be possible, until we go less than 100%, of our move here, then we can sure begin to tackle something like that. It just feels like this can be in play until proven otherwise. But because these areas of the lower highs are consistent, 41, 37, 36.5, and now 35, 35.50, which was really the reason that area is so important, is because how long it acted as support. Support, 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 wick below, support, and then fail. So if the market didn't want it then, it becomes that much of a stronger resistance on any kind of a pop on the way up. So any kind of a near term pop in the price action of Bitcoin getting above 3,500, where that used to be 38.50, right? When we were over here in our potential diamond bottom that never really played out. It becomes that much more harder and harder to move higher here. So there'll be opportunities on lower time frames to find some scalps if that's your thing. Watch for the double bottoms in the RSIs, kind of that, or that. Then there's that higher low RSI, lower low price divergences that you try and look for. We have a lot of examples on lower time frames where big wicks get bought up. So big wicks that are showing oversold. Okay, there tend to be buyers the more oversold they become. But when we do these small little moves here, we can allow this cascade to continue. So I expect this week to have some pretty interesting price action. We're only a day and a half, 2 days into it, and we already have a decent candle here. So The past 2 weeks have been very tight price action, very tight candle bodies. Um, I think we may see something closer to, a bigger, wider spread where maybe we don't see the bottom wick that we're looking for. Maybe we actually close at a much more bearish, looking candle. And all we're talking about is just a continuation. Look at this price action from 2017. Look how quickly this rose. We're literally doing the mirror effect. We're falling out of space. Gravity's pulling us back to Earth. And I mean, there's nothing in the past that tells us we can't go back into these areas once again in the future. And we're doing a very similar bounce, come up, down, bounce, come up, up, or bounce, come down, up. It's just a mirror. So 3,000 or bust. Bust can take us all the way down, back down to 1,800 or even lower. The real parabolic move in Bitcoin, I feel, started when we broke our previous all-time high, which was around $1,150, $1,200. We broke above it in February of 17, and then that's where the parabolic move really took off. So really everything above that was that move as a whole. And normally when parabolic moves like this happen, they always revert back to the mean, or at least close to it, to kind of test that area as if it really is truly historic support. So I've always felt and believed that everything all the way down to, $1,200 is definitely a possibility. I think if Bitcoin breaks below that, then we're talking about the viability in the self. But then honestly, that could be the area of the ultimate bottom in its time. And I've always said this as well, is that we won't know the bottom is in until very long after it happened. It will probably take us months to realize the bottom was actually in. That's what happened in 2014. The market didn't know the bottom was in until 10 months after it was actually in, when they were able to kind of really show that, wow, we're in a new uptrend now. So we might not know the bottom is truly the bottom until well after it. Until then, near-term price action is kind of what we're focused on, how the alts play around. And lastly here, Bitcoin dominance 53.7. It's slowly rising. It's about 1% higher than it's been the past couple days. Market cap 112 billion and falling, volume rising. And so far this volume rising has been all bear volume on the alts, and almost 7 billion here, a little lower today on Bitcoin. Bitcoin market cap 60 billion. Everything's pointing to a 50 billion market cap and a sub 100 entire crypto market cap. There's no reason why these areas should hold. And we'll watch the volume. I think on lower time frames, we're probably going to find that bottoming, at least near term, with a very high volume candle, probably on the 1 hour or the 4 hour candle profile. So that should show us something. But for now, as we end the show, we're basically showing that the free fall is in its, early stages at this day as it stands.
Yep, I'm literally like a couple dollars from my long scalp getting taken out. Oh, Lord. Not looking good here. Not
The volume
looking
isn't
good.
high. That's why there's no reason why this should, it's just no one's really stepping in right yet.
No, no one's stepping in to buy, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's why this feels early in this fall down here.
Yeah, so listen, here's the thing, people. I mean, I have so many, like, here's my WMA. You see the historic support that we have here. This is my WMA TSI chart, right? You see all this support that's happened right here on this level. We're in the red box. Now I did call for this to drop down here. Perfect, like it did. There's my red arrow, but I also was looking for a green bounce out of here. And I was gambling on it. I was gambling on this having some sort of a bounce right here, and I have to tell you, this is just I'm not getting the warm and fuzzies right now, right? WMA on support, right? You know, you've got here, look at this. This is your weekly ADX, your weekly ADX back historically. Here it is. Look, this is where it bounced. You dipped lower the first time, recovered, right? Then you dip back down, and this is exactly where you bounced last time, right? Weekly ADX on support, right? I mean, there's so many reasons for me there. Okay, here's this is my chart, my massive head and shoulders chart I called out, right? Look at all the arrows have worked out absolutely gorgeously. I mean, these have played out very well. This created a second head and shoulders here. Now you've come down, you've hit the last support on this head and shoulders, but on the major head and shoulders, you still are way up here. You have a long way to go, right? A little bit further to go right here for support. So this has got a little bit more to go for a support level. And what I'll do is I'll actually mark this. All right, let me scoot this over here. And oh shit, support. Right? I mean, that's really it. You've got this little oh shit support line right here. Right? We haven't quite hit it. You know, let's go take a look at our Stoke. Our Stoke is very close to the bottom right here. So we're really close on the Stoke. I've been calling these for bearish bounces. It's been correct 100%, right? Stoke, so close to a bounce also. Right, now these bounces don't need to be big, but I was at least expecting some sort of a bounce. There's the daily. Take a look at the daily. We have broken the daily right there on the downside of the BB. I'll actually throw that up in the members area. Right, and I want to go back in time. If we could just go back in time over here to when I put this up, right? I said break this, and poor Vamp needs to listen to 1 to 7 days of Boltards calling the bottom and wrecking everyone. And I would like to say once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, I called that absolutely fucking perfect from right here. Right, when we broke this right here, I made a exactly to the dime call right here, where I had to put up with almost 7 days of Boltard saying that this was the bottom, and that was it, and we were going to the moon right here. And then of course that never happened, and now here we are almost going to test again this lower low right here. Right, we're about to test this lower low. And I have to say, this is kind of where we're back all the way down, looking for the toilet bowl here, right? Well, look there's the toilet bowl, right? There's the toilet bowl over there. This is the lid of the toilet bowl, just like I had before, right? And there's the toilet. And then, listen, if we bring this over here, slide everything over. All right. Right. And now our support is right there. Our support is that 50 MA. The 50 MA is support. It's actually a little bit higher right here. Breaking that 50 MA. That's it. That's exactly what. And Vamp was right. I was exactly right. Right. I was exactly on 100%. Right, nailed the Boltard call 100%. Right, nailed the Boltard call exactly. Let's go take a look. I've got a couple more little things I want to peek at. Support right here. Take a look at the support level. So you see the blue line. Is it gone along? Support, 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 support. Right, ADX. Just riding on support, ADX daily. You're riding support. Right, so many reasons for me to look at this as a good long potential right here. And so many reasons for this. If it breaks this just going to freaking hell. Okay, now look, we've broken through we're almost through our support box here, right? All right, this is our RSI bubble chart. So the RSI bubble chart broken support so far. This can bounce still, but if this closes underneath here, this is not a good sign at all, peoples. Not a good sign at all. But that is clearly a break of that line right there, and that usually is a short and long trade line. MACD bubble chart breaking through all the supports. And this is the scariest chart of them all. If you want to know where this, where you finally capitulated to, is this it? Right? Is this it right here? Because this is where your last capitulation was to Baby Bull Jesus. Once these two indicators crossed, this was it. Okay? My question is, we never had this little fake out bounce right here. I was still looking for the fake out bounce. Where was the fake out bull bounce? Right? Never happened. Okay, and that's it. That's it for me. Right?
It's tired. I think this
I'm
is.
beat. I think we're done. I think we're done. So listen, everyone, I want to say thank you all so much for being here today. We are two very tired boys over here. Two very tired young men. We had a great time. We'll do a catch-up show tomorrow for everybody. So listen, go over here, find this fine young man, okay? Listen, there's no amount of money. Okay, yes, there is any amount of money you could pay me to tell you all of the devious things that Chone did while he was in Vegas, the debauchery, uh, the uh, the sanctimonious maleness that was occurring. So feel free to hit me up. I could possibly send you pictures and or video, and or there were no midgets that were damaged or harmed in the making of these videos. Okay. So, so other than that, go over, give this nice young gentleman 31,400 followers over here. Listen, we had a great time. He is a super, super, super nice guy in person. And yes, there is a reason they call him Big Chone. At least 8 out of 10 strippers in Vegas agree with the Big Chone name. So that's always good to hear. But for all of us, I would like to say thank you guys so much. Go over, Chone has got some great services. Besides, and he needs more money to take care of these single moms trying to put themselves through college. So come on over here, donate to this gentleman so that he can give it back and he can pump it back into the economy, doing everything that he possibly can to help the U.S. economy to make things great again. Joan, anything you'd like to say to anybody out there? You got your packages? Can you tell them about your packages? Training?
Yeah, well, I'm still offering mentoring. Please, if you guys have any interest in that, you guys can definitely reach out to me on that Twitter DM or email bigchonas@gmail.com. And just looking forward to putting out some more awesome content as the days and weeks progress. Yeah, Vegas was great. Had a good time. It was really I think the conference and the stuff that was discussed there, it gave me a lot of different perspective on um, Bitcoin, blockchain, the technology part side of it, and then the trading aspect of it and the valuation aspect of it. So I'm glad I went. I'm glad, Deb and I had a really fun time there, and we'll be in touch. This is a dynamic time in Bitcoin, and love to share my thoughts and ideas.
Yep. All right, everybody. So I will do the 2 second shill. 185 people watching this. My shill to you is take that 2 to 3 seconds, get over there, hit Twitter. All you got to do is get up there, tap that Twitter thing, share a link with your followers. Listen, if you go on and you say something nice like Vamp and Chone are the most amazing guys in crypto. Just something, low key. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be that out. I'm not asking for something over the top. Just something like the most amazing guys would be easy. Right, get over there and share this wonderful stream that we have. 6,400 followers. You know what's really hilarious is I am by far the most accurate 24/7 live stream in all of crypto. I can't even understand why I don't have like 10,000 subscribers. I think that the key is that there's not enough people to counter trade us yet, right? But man, I'll tell you what, just watching my stream is like fucking taking money from babies. It's like being a stripper and running into Chone in Vegas. It's just like easy money. I mean, I can't even believe that we don't have more people watching the stream just to make the easy money on these easy calls. I am the Vamp. This is Chone. I'm from Trading Associates. He's from Las Vegas, the land of the land of the ill-gotten gains, and I am